Hi, everybody. So, I want to run through a couple things here with you in this demonstration. But first, some of the main things is where you can find things. I was looking through the chat or the discussions, and the point was brought up about the expense of the book and PDFs of some pages and stuff. Yeah, great. I I don't know if I should say that or not, but I want to point out to you that a lot of those pages are in the class. So I want to run through a couple things so we can find everything. And that is, first of all, check the announcements, because that's where I'm going to post the videos and such. Like here, I posted the first one was the class information on how things blew up and how I'm fixing it. It's the week 1 recording. You've probably already watched that. So check the announcements. The other thing, check the modules, because I've added some more movies to the modules, to the week 1 module on the figure. But I've also added a bunch of movies on the week 2 stuff, hands and feet. Now, well, when I get to it, I'll show you. So check those modules. Next week I'll post week 3 module, which will have information associated to week 3 items, which again I'm going to get back to because of this because of the first couple of weeks. I said I was going to give you a break on due dates. Well, if you look in the assignments, you'll notice that we were supposed to, or it was listed that we were going to take a quick look at faces this week. Well, I'm going to push that to next week, because according to the assignments, we were going to work with a live model. Well, we're not going to do that this semester because it's really pointless on Zoom. Because the whole idea of a live model is to translate that 3D object to 2D by looking at it, and we just can't do that. So we'll spend more time on. Yeah, okay. I okayed that. I hope I shouldn't have. I hope I should have. But we'll get more in depth in faces week 3 next week. Now, speaking of the assignments, there are brief descriptions here. Like for week 1 was the front, side, 3/4, and back view. I had someone ask me about if it should be the male and the female. I mean, the answer is yes, but I should have been more clear here. I'm going to show you where you can get other information. But before I leave this page, here's your download, your link to download your PDFs to the class, which will be nice because during Zoom sessions, I can just go to your PDF. We can put it on the screen, have our critiques that way. Okay, so getting more information on the assignments. If you go into the syllabus, which you can also find in the home, these are the same. Now I'm going to scroll down, and we'll get to the topics of the week. Like here, week 1 was the 10 head female and male fashion figures. So I missed this part in the assignment proper. But here's a layout of what we're going to try to accomplish on these weeks. Like I said, face, I'm pushing that to next week because here's, like I said, here was when we were going to do the live model thing. So we'll talk about faces and I'll show you how to use some of these tools, materials. Now the other thing I want to show you on here is, and it relates to the discussion item about the book being expensive and having pages. Well, if you scroll down, oh, I felt like I yelled. If you scroll down to just above the required materials, which if I can remind you has links to these particular retailers. And as I had previously mentioned, I like Jerry's Artorama. Blick is a discount place too. I just kind of like, I've had good luck with Jerry's Artorama. I don't work for him. I don't get any. I would say compare your prices. And once again, I wouldn't shop at Michael's or Hobby Lobby unless you have at least 50% off. And even that's probably going to cost you more than Blick or Jerry's Artorama. So, and I know Jerry's has free delivery if you spend like more than $49 or something like that. Okay, back to the point. Above those required materials, you'll find a bunch of links. If I click on Basic Fashion Figure Part 1, here's your book. And included in there are like the first 30 pages. So I believe you can just download this link and have a PDF that you can refer to at any time. So it gives you some of the now, believe it or not, anatomy is important to you guys. Understanding why the form is the form is crucial. Understanding why you have some of the different, like I was explaining the other day, week 1 with the pelvic bone and the hips, how you get some different contour undulations. So it's important to at least be aware of how the bones in the body affect the form. And then, of course, drawing the figure. Had another question about the figures. If I just wanted a straight-on pose like so, and then side, 3/4 back, yeah, that's fine. I told that particular student if they had some more understanding of the subject, then they could make it a little more stylish or whatever. So feel free. But minimum requirement is just, front view. Because the main concern at the beginning for me is proportions. Trying to hook up these odd geometric shapes into something that looks like a human. So there's like 30 pages. And 30 pages just on that particular piece. And if you scroll down towards the end, You know, it gives you some insight into the profile, the side view. You know, they separated one side of the balance line and the other. So, and you'll see basic figure part 2 continues on, which will be important when we start to translate what our basic into our more stylized croquis. I'm scrolling through fast. You guys can take as much time as you want. You'll also find the male figure in there. Remember when I did the circle, ellipse, circle, ellipse? And then when I outlined that form or restated it, it gave a more masculine appearance to the basic sketch. So again, you can roll through these for female, male, front view, 3/4 view, side view. So again, those are all there. Now, I think these are the areas that I wanted you to see. Yes. So let me go back down here to the meat of this particular week, which again, I don't expect these to be, turned in by this Sunday night. I will push that until the following Sunday night for these first couple of weeks, because I'm owning the problems we had. So I'm not gonna what's the word, punish you for things that are either out of my control or something I did. Like that first series of emails, that was totally my fault. Had the classes mixed up. Okay, I'm wasting your time again. So let's look at the hands and feet. Again, all these pages are right out of 5th edition fashion sketchbook. Here's a progression of, and I know this isn't hands and feet, these are legs, but the skeletal anatomy. This shows the different muscles in the leg, rough drawings, simplified shapes, and then fleshing it out a little more. So, it's legs. And let's start looking at feet. I mean, drawing feet and hands, what would it be? Representationally, in other words, lifelike. Yeah, that's a challenge. Each finger is its own cylinder, which has joints in it, so you basically get 3 cylinders to a finger. And posing that with 5 fingers in the palm, lighting, yeah, it's a challenge. Drawing the hands and feet for the fashion figure, we just want to imply much highly simplified and stylized. So I mean, see that, just that little tick mark there? Well, that's enough to imply the big toe and then separate it from the rest of the toes. You're not mistaking that for anything else. It looks like a foot. So there's like 4 main views for the feet. There's the side view. There's kind of the front on, top down view. There's the turned out view, like a 3/4, kind of like this. Well, a lot like that. And then the back view. Back view, we can think about more later on, I guess. Because I don't know how often you're going to do like a walking back pose, but maybe. Um, Definitely if you're trying to show details on the back of a garment, then yeah, we're going to want to know that. But the back view of the foot is about as simple as it can get. So, other feet, and again, like these are both top-down front views. Obviously, both side views, inside and outside of the foot. Not much difference. Then you've got a front-on overhead view and a turned out, we'll call it a three-quarter view. And look at that. That's just a long-legged lazy V or a tapered U shape. Very simple. Even the side view, we'll get down to it and we'll see the side view of the foot can be simplified considerably too. Foreshortening, I'm gonna shine that on for another week at least. And that's simply taking the cylinders that are legs and arms and putting them into perspective. Because you can see the length of the thigh here. But if I bring the knee up, you don't see as much of it. And it becomes more of you're looking from this end up to this end. So it gets what is called foreshortened. And we'll talk about that in due time. I want to get the hands and feet. So, drawing your feet, like the assignment for this week. I just want 5 pairs of feet and 5 pairs of hands in different poses. So, simplifying the foot, and this is about as simple as it gets. And these shapes to help you think about the foot. So it's essentially, and you can make that even a little more triangular. But the circle here is denoting where the heel is. And you can see from the connection of these rough shapes. There's very simple shapes. Now, foot on the floor is just a flat triangle. But if you simply rotate that triangle up and put the circle for the heel and keep the front end shape horizontal, then you're putting the foot into a heel. And again, these pages are available to you. I showed you where. And look for just those little tick marks if you need, if you're wearing, putting an open-toed shoe. That's all you need to do. You don't really have to draw every toe. I would recommend against drawing every toe. Because then it's unnecessary because, we're selling, evening wear, we're selling active wear, we're selling sports wear. Which are some of the 3 things that we're going to focus on this semester? Right? Sportswear, active wear, and evening wear. So later on, your stylized croquis may have open-toed shoes. So you may want to use this technique. It's simple and effective. And it's not going to take away from, the thing you're trying to show me. Again, if you're drawing, if your interest is, handbags, you're going to want to know how to draw hands. If you're interested in footwear, well, yeah, you're going to want to know how to draw feet. Maybe your interest is millinery. Hats. Well, in that case, yeah, you're going to want to know how to draw face and hair pretty effectively. So, but for the most part, general use, we're alluding to the shape. So here again, in a 3/4 turned out foot, basic shapes are still the same. You just, instead of having this being more of a triangle, or it's not horizontal to the floor anymore. That ellipse is turned a little bit so that you can add a view of some of the other toes that you wouldn't get with just a side view. But the basic shapes are all the same. And when you go in and outline around those shapes, you can form that foot very effectively. And then just by rotating things, you can get different heel heights. So here's a breakdown of see what I'm saying about open-toed shoes? Wearing these flip-flops, these little tick marks. Perfect. That's all you need. Now the form of the foot from on top. Like I said, it's just that long V shape that you just round the end and just roughly make a lazy U. Well, I want to point out something when we're drawing, not so much for this week because it's just isolating hands and feet. But when you start putting the hands and feet on your croquis, one of the most common I don't want to call it mistakes, misdirections that I've seen are hands and feet are bigger than you think they are. Now, if we look at the foot, the size of your foot, your own foot, is about the length from your elbow to your wrist. Mine is too. Mine's probably bigger than yours. And I probably have a longer arm than you do. I mean, check it yourself. You'll see. And hands are, go look in a mirror. Put a hand up to your face. It covers your entire face. Not your whole head, but your face. So, one of the common, whatever I called it a minute ago, is that you tend to make your hands and feet really small. Well, let's break that habit from the start. So that's top view of feet, and it goes into different views. And look how easy it is to put a shoe on a foot like this. You're just adding another triangle that goes around that. You're flattening this out, and you're just not showing the tick marks. Bam, you've got the toe of a heel. Or whatever type of shoe you are putting on. Different views with the boot. And you can see you've got that circle for the heel, the little arced rectangle down into that horizontal ellipse, which we've triangulated for the toe. And then you throw a heel on it. Boom. You got a shoe. As we go through these different, and again, this is a little more for, now feel free to use in your 5 pairs of feet. Refer to this page, refer to these pages. Find some different poses and try drawing feet. this is just getting the skills to put these parts together to start creating reasonable looking stylized croquis. So feel free to model or pick some of these poses and try them. Eventually you don't even put the circles and the little triangles in there. You do it. I always think it's like playing music. At first you have to read every note. Then you learn the song and you can start to embellish it with your own arrangements or your own whatever. And you don't even need the music anymore. You know the song. You got it all in muscle memory. That's what this is too. But for now, use the shapes to help you form the foot if you need them. And again, feel free to take on some of these poses. Like I said, the back view. Pretty simple. We'll spend a little time on that alone. Because if you think about things rationally, it's like, oh man, the back of the foot. I never see the back of the foot. How am I going to draw that? But if you break it down into its simple form, it's really quite simple. So, combining different poses with the feet. Again, draw on that if you want. We'll get back to this for the arms. All right, here's the other section in there. And this is about the hands. If I was at the whiteboard, I'd be doing exactly this. Drawing a rectangle and showing you how the palm of the hand or the back of the hand occupies this much space. Well, the fingers occupy pretty much equally that space. So as you can see, you've got that rectangle up here and the same size rectangle down there. Occupies your fingers. The difference is the fingers don't end all at the same length. You'll see there's a little arc to them. The index finger and the pinky, they're not the same length. The thumb hits about halfway down your index finger. So, simplifying the shapes. Now, this is one thing I want to point out too. When we go to bend the fingers into our poses, I love this kind of hand. You don't need to do this kind of hand. And frankly, this kind of hand, unless necessary, can really cause you some issues. It can really look clunky because you're trying to, in a very small space, trying to get all four of these fingers. Whereas I love this stylized, just implied hand. Again, you've got the one finger split off and a couple of tick marks to indicate the other fingers. Back to what I was saying. In our fingers, we have 3 joints. You've got the knuckle here, and then you've got another joint here, and another joint down here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 segments to that. The fourth segment being the back of your hand. Well, with our fashion illustrations, we'll break that down into just 2 in the fingers. We don't need that third little whoop-de-doo on there for the tip of the finger. Just use these 2 as 1. So we'll just pretend it only has the 1 knuckle in the middle. Kind of hard to bend your finger that way. I guess it's possible. Oh, pardon me. And in your in the assignment, I don't know how much you're going to want to do a clutching hand like this. To start with, I'd probably encourage you to do these more open hands. And you can work on some of these, take some of these poses as your reference for doing your hand poses. And here's breaking down different hand poses into their very simplest forms. And again, there's the back of the hand. The fingers are about the same size. Back of the hand, fingers are about the same size. Occupy the same space. So this would be a very effective hand on hip pose. And if you did something like this one, I'd call that done. I don't know if you have to flesh it out anymore into this kind of thing. So this gives you some insight into different, for one croaky, if that's just standing straight on, full frontal, arms to the side, this is your kind of pose. It's very stiff, very attention kind of a pose. Whereas some of these others can be a little more relaxed, a little looser. And even these are, if you get to this level quick, awesome. Again, something like this kind of pose, I would probably just bring this finger even a little more straight out. And then put these three fingers together with just tick marks. Like I mentioned up here. That would be just as effective. And a little more simple. I'm sorry, that's 2 yawns. And again, here's that, instead of the attention hand pose, here it's a little more relaxed, just hanging down to the side. Great. That could be a pose, hand pose, in a walking pose. Some different hands on hips. Don't even have to worry that much about fingernails. Unless, of course, you're highlighting them. So, that's some of the easy peasy. Oh yeah, we still got this on here. I just wanted to simplify things a little. Oh. What the heck? Hang on. Oh, and by the way, I was telling you about the steps I'm taking for, next week getting my own laptop or getting a new MacBook and, using that dedicated microphone. Well, in going to record this demo, usually I don't have much trouble. But I was going to record some stuff with the camera. And my camera is only autofocus. So it was going in and out of focus every time I moved my hand. So I bought a new camera now too. So and that's supposed to be coming by tomorrow. So hopefully everything will be in place for next Monday, and we can get back to smooth sailing. Because then I can just go into class, do the Zoom thing. I can share my screen. I can have the chat open over on the side so I can see what you guys are asking, and life will be so much simpler. And then for those of you who are in the classroom, I can just run an HDMI cable over to the wall, and you'll be able to see on the projector what I'm doing as a live demo. So it'll be great for everybody. We've just had some issues at the beginning. So what I had mentioned previously was, having that hand and then about the same size is the space that occupies the fingers. And again, having that arc so that you've got your fingers, your thumb comes off the side of the hand, hits about halfway up the first finger. So that was just the basics of the hand. And again, I hope you don't mind that I'm using Photoshop for this at the moment. And again, well, I have no option. If I'm doing more of a side view, again, the back of the hand and then the finger space is about the same. That the underside of the hand comes this way. So you can put your thumb on there. Just take this out to a more or less a point. And then you can just add a couple more fingers coming off from and you've got a fairly relaxed pose, whether it's coming out here, or maybe you come down off this way a little more, and then add or even without these. If I come out here, bring my thumb out here, bring my fingers down, and I don't even need to add those other fingers. And again, for a simple variation, I can bring the fingers out this way. Looks a little squirrely with my... Oh, that's why. Sorry about that. I want a more hard edge. So in just thinking about the shape of the hands, they always flare out. So the arm comes down into the wrist, and then the back of the hand, pretty much any pose, it flares out, and then your fingers are out from there. Now the wrist is a little bit cocked here, so if I just had the arm come down like so, and just was showing the back of the hand, and then your fingers. And then if you need, there's a thumb that comes out this way. So you can very easily represent hands. I mean, in the fine art drawing, representational drawing, yeah, hands can cause fits. Especially if there is foreshortening involved, it can get a little bit wild. So the quick 1-2 punch on hands. Now feet again. You know, it start. Whoops. Yeah. Brush. You know, it had this. Whoops. Sorry about that. That was a terrible. You know, starting here, putting that circle on here, that ellipse here. Again, you can treat this more of as a triangle if you so desire. Because when you come off the leg and you flesh out this heel, put an arc in there, right into the toes, back up to the arch of the foot, and into the leg. Now if I needed a heel, you know, it's just putting this at more of an angle. Putting that down there with your, you know, that ellipse. Got my circle. So as I come down off the leg and go around that circle, give the arch down into the ball of the foot, and come back up, and right up the leg. So you can just see how you're making that the ball of the foot into the arch, into the heel, back up the leg. Now if I wanted to put a shoe on there, I can just take that around, follow that up. And put a heel on it. And I just put it in a shoe. The top-down view, you know, you essentially have a rectangle that tapers off in the back here a little bit, and then once again you've got just a lazy U. You know, I could put a little more of a nub in for each toe and put the little slashes in there. Cool. Well, now it looks like I've actually put a bit of a sandal on that. Got a strap around the ankle. I just made that into an open toe shoe without any effort. Ankle, leg, ankle, leg. Just a little note. The inside of your ankle, that bone is higher than the outside. Just a little tip. So, I'm trying to demystify hands and feet for you. Hopefully, we'll be successful, and as we go, and you know, critiques will be great. So, when you get a page or two of these guys, just take a picture or scan them. Make a PDF. You know, it can be multiple pages if you want, if you need it. Upload them. Let me remind you. When you go to the assignments, let's go to hands and feet. Uh-oh. Please include assortment of hands and feet, posture illustration, a minimum of 5 pairs of hands and 5 pairs of feet. But I just noticed I have to put the upload in there. This is what's supposed to be there. All right. Well, it looks like I've got to fix that. So when you get your PDFs, throw them in the assignment download. Again, I'm extending some of the time because we're not going to do a live model, so we have a little extra. I can give you some leeway with these assignments, and starting next Monday, we're not going to have any more problems. That was me knocking wood. All right, so if that's clear as mud, let's proceed with and get your figure drawings uploaded so we can take a look at them Monday when everything is back to normal. All right, so if you have questions, you can email me questions. You can post them in the discussions. Get some help from fellow classmates, and like I said, I drop in, and if there's something that's asked that I can answer, yeah, I'll chime in. So have fun, stay stylish. That's what I was afraid of. She did good. I thought she was going to bark through this whole thing. Okay. That's enough for now. Thank you. I'll probably edit this part out.